All right. Welcome in, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. My dog's already barking in the background. Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody doing? You guys hear that? I hear that. That's going to distract me. I probably should say something. Welcome in. Must be nice weather. Actually, you know what, Joya? It is nice weather today. It is nice weather today. It is, I think it's 40s, maybe 40s today in New York. Let's see. What is the weather today? The weather today? No, 36. Feels like 41 though. Feels like 41. That's nice weather. That's nice weather. Okay. So, welcome in. I hope you guys all had a beautiful Wednesday session. It's Thursday now, so it doesn't matter anymore. It does not matter how your Wednesday was because it's Thursday. So, we have some things to talk about this morning. We are going to jump into a lot of things happening here pre-market. Market is breaking some levels today. So, we're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about that. Miguel, you're an Apple. I'm also an Apple too. I'm long Apple too. But I'll talk about Apple today. It has to reclaim 258 for me to hold this. In fact, I may get stopped here today on Apple. I'll show you. I longed Apple here at 262. And right now we're at 288 today. So we'll see what happens. Apple is one of my main demand, my daily demands here. So let's see if it holds. But if it doesn't, I walk away. So let's see what happens. This is the huge level, though, on Apple, by the way. This is the 61.8 retracement. This is that daily retest. So I'm thinking we hold, but again, we'll see what happens here on Apple today. So we'll dive into that chart as well. We'll go over some other things. We'll go over Nvidia. Nvidia, interesting today. Nvidia is at that 190 again. We'll go over the Amazonian Scamazon. Scamazon moving a little bit frothy recently, right? Frothy since that breakout. Now, I didn't really give opportunity yesterday. In my opinion, it just rips. I did speak about the 239 demand hold yesterday, but I didn't give any opportunity to go long, right? Transparently, I actually was looking along this at open, and I couldn't even get a fill here, right? Because by the time you're ready to trade, your broker's open, bam, right? Fat green candle right in your face. So what do we do now? Only thing we can do is wait for a pullback long, right? 239. We'll talk about that in a minute. 239 pullback long, big level. We'll discuss that momentarily. Okay, we'll go over other charts today. We'll discuss the ES chart. ES, very big level yesterday, very big level test. We held demand at open, right? Very big demand. We held it open, which is that 69.78 level here in ES's chart. It should be here, 69.80, 69.70, 69.77. So we'll talk about that in a minute. And then also we eventually broke down, and now we are beneath that critical level. So we'll talk about this demand hold, but then also failure into the afternoon session yesterday. So big things happening here. We're going to dive into everything. Let's have a beautiful pre-market session, and let's get prepped and ready. So today's session, in terms of econ data, this morning it is pretty hefty, right? Thursday and Friday are the heftiest days of the week. Okay, this morning we have our international trade in goods and services at 8:30. That was about 8 minutes ago. Besides that, jobless claims 8 minutes ago as well. If you are worried about what the jobless claims numbers are, what are the jobless claims numbers? Give me a second. I want to take a look at it because I want to know what it is. It was released 8 minutes ago, so I should have the numbers. It should be on my Thinkorswim. Yes, okay, I have it here. So USA continuing jobless claims, 1.86 mil to 1.858. So it looks to be just at expectations. 4.9 versus 4.9 for non-farm. 1.91 versus 1.9 estimate. Okay, I was looking at the revision. 1.9, basically it's at expectations, right? It's just at expectations. All data this morning coming in almost exactly in line, except for one release this morning that's coming out completely different. Trade balance. I'm not seeing that on the docket, but trade balance this morning. I presume that's the first one here we have. That is coming in at a very big lower number, right? Minus 29.4 bill versus 58 bill estimate. So the trade balance is definitely a lot better than expectations. But besides that, everything else meeting expectations pretty much on the penny. Okay, let's move on, guys. I want to go into our charts today because that's what's important. Actually, you know what? One comment to make before we leave this. Tomorrow's session, Friday, the 9th of January, we have big data in the pre-market session. It's our employment data. This is the biggest data this week. I want you guys to be aware of that because sometimes I talk about data and you may think it's all the same, but it's not all the same. Some things are more important than others. Tomorrow's data is very important and we're going to see a reaction to this. Okay, we will see a reaction to this. I assume we will. Okay, so just be aware of that going into tomorrow's session. Tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. employment data. Okay. Besides that, without further ado, let's just jump into our numbers and we're going to go into our charts. So Mena, by the way, Mena, thank you very much. That is very kind of you. Much appreciated. I almost did not see that. You are very kind for that. Thank you for always supporting, Mena. That is awesome. Okay, so on the SPY chart, let's talk about SPY. So SPY yesterday was, I think, it probably was one of the most tactical sessions. If you just came into yesterday's session and trusted the level, okay, if you just came in and said, you know what, I trust the levels, you would have had a great day. The first thing that happened was 693 rejections, and I didn't take this trade. I did not take this trade. I'm not going to say I did take this trade. I didn't take the trade. 693 rejection was the thing we talked about yesterday, but the problem was this happened right before our 9:45 JOLTS data. I think it was 10 o'clock data. 10 o'clock data yesterday. So we didn't take this trade. I didn't take the trade at least. But then after that, it ended up selling off pretty aggressively. I think Mike actually took a trade. He took the trade under yesterday's high. So he took the trade under 692 and got a scalper back into 691. And then I went long here at 691, which was our demand yesterday. And then I got the upside move. Now, the biggest trade yesterday, though, so there was some shorts at highs. There was some longs. There was some longs to trade back at demand, which was the same demand we spoke about. And then you can see the 693 level, which was the level that Mike and I were talking about yesterday, was that ES 6700 level. Turned into, in my opinion, this was the best trade yesterday, was this. See this right here? What is this? What is this? This is scientifically known as a wim-wam, right? And what that means basically is when you think it's going to go higher and everyone thinks it's going to go higher because it's breaking out, it fails back below, right? And that's your scientific wim-wam for a downside move, okay? And your best possible short yesterday, the best short yesterday, off of science, this is science right now, okay, was here, there, and here for the downside move. Those are the two best shorts yesterday. Not here, not there, here, and here were the best shorts yesterday. Why? Because all the longs that went long above the highs get stopped and the move is far more aggressive, right? And that's what this is. So when you look at the chart now and you say, well, great, nice, okay, cool. So basically yesterday's session, we were guided by 691. We saw upside move. We fell back lower. We broke down under demand and we moved into the next demand. Now, here's the thing today. Remember what we said yesterday. Yesterday's session, we said this is an uptrend, this is an uptrend, this is an uptrend. You can short supply, you can look for failures at supply, but this is an uptrend. That's what we said yesterday. We just kept saying uptrend, 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 right? And here today, is the uptrend still an uptrend? The answer is kind and maybe, right? 689, is my opinion, is what tells us this is an uptrend or not an uptrend. And right now, you're seeing the possibilities of a flip right now from this being an overall uptrending market now to a downside bear market. And why am I saying that? Because in an uptrend, what you do is you analyze the lows that we form. And here you can see we have a higher low, a higher low, a higher low, a higher low, right? And that was all fine and dandy up until this pre-market where we are now breaking beneath the higher low and potentially turning this into a rejection. So here right now, this moment, we are potentially forming a downside move here for a move down a lot lower, right? We need to reclaim 689. Our buys today is driven upon right here, right here, right here. It's actually one of the most simple sessions we're having pre-market, right? If we are above this level right here at 689, we're back bullish upside, right? If we're below 689, we're looking for a downside move and the bear flag to play up and play out and a downside play, right? So here right now, you're looking to see, does this downside pre-market turn into a little bit of a bear flag, right? A little bit of a bear flag off of yesterday's close price, off of the highs of Monday, off of the highs of all this nonsense, right? For the downside play. So right now, everything is based upon 689. If we're under 689, we're bearish. If we reclaim 689, we're moving back into 691. But of course, 691 is still resistance, so be aware of that going into our session. But as of right now, 689 is your most beautiful level of demand. Okay, if we are above it, bullish, below bearish. Right now, it's supply. So let's see what happens. Okay, on the ES chart, it is the same thing, right? So on the ES chart, what's going on here? Why are my levels messed up here? Let's fix this properly. So the level that I have on the ES chart, why is it so discrete? Why is this so different, right? This makes me crazy, right? This makes me crazy. When you look at this makes me absolutely insane. Because when you look at the SPY chart, right? Look at the low of yesterday's session where we went long on SPY. Do you guys remember? If you guys were long with us, it was right here, right? We went long right there on SPY at 69.70, right? Off of that high from Tuesday, right? It was a beautiful long entry. And this was a good long on that Friday, right? Or sorry, on Wednesday. And then you go to the SPY chart. And oh, you know what? No, sorry, I'm wrong. I'm completely wrong about this. I'm completely wrong. I am wrong. I'm wrong. ES is not wrong. I am wrong. Okay, 691 is fine. ES chart back over here, and I'm gonna write this out properly so I know this. This level here is 691 SPY. Okay, I was confusing this for 689. I was wrong about that. But again, this is your 691 level, and then your next level is yesterday's close price, which here will be your 689 correlation, right? So 689 correlation here on SPY. And we're just going to notate that properly so we have it. And so we now know that 69.58 is your ES level, and 691 SPY is your 69.76 level here on ES's chart. And so these are the two things to watch out for today, right? Right now we are technically bearish as long as you're under 69.58, right? As long as you're underneath yesterday's close price, we are looking for downside. Why? Because this is a potential trend flip in the market. Now again, we have to see how this presents. But if this presents to be a bear flag today, then we can look for a downside move and move lower, right? That's the first thing. Likewise, right? Likewise, if we see it reclaim and we see us move back above the 6958s, then we don't short this because it's going to go back into 691 SPY, or in this case, the ES chart 6977, right? So our levels are pretty simple today. Everything for me is based upon where we closed yesterday, right? It's a really good approach to understand the market this morning. And right now, off the gate at 8:44 in the morning, we have a bear sentiment, right? But again, this may shift, and those shifts will provide opportunity. But let's see what happens today going into our open today. Minimalist me, thank you very much. That is also kind of you. Thank you for supporting Minimalist me. That is awesome. Thank you for doing that. Okay, so moving on. Let's go over our other names. QQQ chart. On the Q's chart, the first thing I'm going to say here is it's really the same thing as SPY. You can see our demand below is where? It's right over here at this 623 area, right? And what I'll do is I'll make it a green band so we can all see it properly. And why is this green band so important? It's important because it is the high from that Friday session. It's the break at level from Tuesday. It's where we opened at on Wednesday session. And if you look at Q's, tech is not that weak yet. I mean, 623 is still maintaining. So right now, I would argue this. If you are a QQQ trader, this is where things become super interesting. If you do the same analysis we just did on the QQQ chart, lower high, or sorry, higher low, really the start of a trend, right? Higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, right? So this is still an uptrend here, right? Qs are still an uptrend. So if you want to see QQ confirmed to a downtrend, technically it's under 622, right? So if you want to look for shorts today in Qs, it's under 622. That would confirm us to the downside here in Qs, which would cause more downside on SPY, right? So right now SPY is clearly starting a downtrend, right? But QQQ is in an uptrend, right? So we have discrepant Qs and SPY, but again, one of them is going to show us what the other is going to do, right? And so let's see what happens today. But as of right now, QQQ, as long as it's above 622, it's in an uptrend. And so that's my new level today, right? 623 is a demand, but 622 is that technical lower high we formed. And so we can look to see if this maintains today. If it maintains, upside. If it fails, downside, back into 619.50. So that's how I'm trading today's session here, using the Qs and SPY. Again, a little bit different here, Qs and SPY, but I do believe it's pretty clear, right? It's not a very difficult session to get a read of, right? Because our levels are very leveling, right? Even yesterday's session, look at the levels yesterday. What did we say yesterday, right? We just said yesterday, as long as we're above 623 bullish, and we did that. We just broke out, we pulled back, some pin bars coming in, upside move. I wish this would have been perfectly at 623. It wasn't, but this was still a good trade, right? If you guys were long in Qs yesterday, that was a good trade. And then eventually we popped up higher and we failed, right? So some very tactical day yesterday off of levels. So today's session, let's see if it could do the same thing, okay? But as of right now, 623, 622, that's your demand today, okay? Let's move on, guys. By the way, we have 1,138 people here. Out of that 1,138 people, that means we should have at least 1,138 divided by 2. That means we should have at least 569 likes. And we have 312 likes, which means we're halfway to our like goal. So guys, that's the one thing I ask for. I don't ask for anything else. Just like the video. It takes 2 seconds, okay? It literally takes not even a second. Moving on. Let's go over our names today. Let's talk about the first ticker today. Let's talk about Amazon. Amazon. So Amazon is my top watch if we do get the pullback. I know I've been talking about this for a while, but Amazon didn't really provide much opportunity yesterday. Today, I'm hoping it does provide opportunity at 239. So this is my big level, just like yesterday's session. Still watching this pullback long number 1 and still watching pullback long number 2, right? Those are the 2 things I'm watching for today's session. Yesterday, it was a rip off of 239. I still need to see that pullback for this that long entry to set up, right? So this is still my top watch. If you pull back to it and we see this develop a demand there, a hold at that level, hold at that demand, then I'll go long, right? So this is my big watch here at Amazon. What I don't want to do though is I don't really want to be buying longs back into these highs over here. I think it's pretty clear. I don't want to be buying highs back into these highs, buying calls back into these highs because it is resistance. Now granted, if resistance breaks, it could go, but the problem is where does Amazon go to? Well, if you guys know this, remember we've been long Amazon long term on equity for a while, right? Remember we said Amazon will play the catch up play in the highs. Well, it probably does play the catch up play in the highs, and so if Amazon just keeps ripping and I don't get an entry intraday, I'm fine with that, right? And we know it probably goes back to all time highs, 258. So just understand that, right? At this point, I'm okay, right? I'll leave it alone. But if we get the pullback long to demand, I'll look for that pullback, right? 239 through 35.50. Those are the 2 pullback long spots. Likewise, if it just continues ripping, you know where it's going. It's going to go back into these highs over here at 258. And that's just what it is, okay? Apple. The Appler. So I am long Apple. I am long Apple. I am long Apple. I longed it yesterday right over here, and we are right over here now. So let's see what happens today. I may get stopped here in Apple. The reason why I long this chart, just so you can see it, because I like you guys to see what I do. I long a lot of position trades on equity, and I'll hit it with large size, and then I'll get 2 R's on it, and I'll make money, and I'll sell it. This has worked for me a lot back in 2025, quarter 4. I think I did 10 of these equity trades, these equity position trades, and I've won all of them. This is the one that looks a little frothy here. I'm not gonna lie, it looks a little frothy. Maybe my position trading streak ends on Apple, and I'm okay with that. But the reason why I'm long this one is a technical long. It's a beautiful technical long. So if it holds here, it holds. If it breaks, I sell. You can call me a muppet. You can call me whatever you want, but at least I tried, right? This is a 10% equity move down into a key demand. The demand that we have here is that 258 level. If you look at this chart, it is an absolutely beautiful daily level here. And so for me, if I do these pre-markets and I talk about levels and I don't take a trade that I talk about, to me, it's that's the worst thing you can do, right? And so for me, this is a long. Let's see if today it sets up into a long. Right now, it's right at my trigger. I'll be down about $4 per share here this morning. So I'm risking probably a move just under 257. If it breaks 257, I sell. Okay, and I'm just giving you guys an idea here. I'm not telling you what to do. You guys do your own things. You guys are your own people. You guys are all adults. But for me, this is what I'm trying here, and let's see what happens. So again, stops under 257, target back into 265 plus. Let's see what happens in this chart. Again, the one thing I also like about this too is I like that for me when I also see that there is a fib play. So if you run the fib from the lows to the highs, right, this uptrend to the highs, you're also going to see that my fib play is lining up perfectly here at the 258. So let's see what happens. It has to hold. If it doesn't, we walk away. Okay, so that's Apple. Intraday though, I do think intraday Apple will see some life, especially when you approach these key demands. Remember I said Apple was bearish here at 265 and don't long it. It's going to go here, right? That's what we said yesterday. It's here now, right? It's here. Now this is where you can start looking for longs. I would not be short anymore on Apple. Okay, that's just my 2 cents. Moving on. Let's go over Nvidia. On the Nvidia chart, Nvidia is completely bound up, tightened up. It doesn't really have much trend. Yesterday it was just choppy, right? I mean, look, nothing happened. And part of the reason why I went long on SPY, if you guys remember, I went long on SPY here, right? I went long here at 691, and then I had to add back into it around like 691.90 over here. So I went long here, and I went long here again. And part of the reason why I went long, I was so long biased at the open, was because I was seeing Nvidia maintaining, right? And Nvidia was maintaining all day yesterday. The weakest name from that Tuesday session was maintaining on Wednesday. Now, I do think that at some point this does make a move, and I like it. Like I still think it at some point it does make that big trend move, because eventually it will break out of this consolidation range. So as much as I want to say don't trade Nvidia, I think there's going to be a day where it just goes crazy, right? It's going to be a day where it either breaks 186 and sees aggressive downside, or it breaks 192.50 and sees that 3 or 4 delta move back up at 198.50. So that's what I'm expecting today, or not today. I'm expecting this week or next week, right? Is one of these big moves, because the tighter a stock trades in a range, the more of a, think of it like a spring, right? The spring is compressing, and eventually it's gonna go what? It's gonna break out, right? And it can go either direction. It's bi-directional, so either here or there, but that's where you have to trade it, right? Either above the highs or below the lows. And if it breaks under 186, you know where it's going to go to. It's going to go back into 181, 182. So that is the trade here on this chart. Okay. Miguel, you're in Friday expiration Apple contracts. You are my friend, my fine feathered friend. You are cooked. But you may be able to convert those into. I would probably just sell that, man, and go into next week, or probably 2 week out contract, 3 week out contract, because that's not. You were scalping it. That's why I forgot you were scalping it. I mean, if you were scalping it yesterday, it's different, but you gotta give it time, right? You gotta give those trades time. Okay. All right. Not gonna lie to you. Right? I'll just be honest. But you may be all right if you just convert those to a few week out. I mean, here's the problem: is if we lose pre-market low, I just walk away, right? And so if we lose pre-market low on next week or this week contracts, they'll be down 40%. But if you exit, on equity or 4 week out contracts, you'll be down 10%. So just understand that if it starts holding, you should just buy further out expiration. Okay. Meta. On the Meta chart, Meta weak. Meta really weak. Meta doesn't have much life to it recently. I don't know what's going on with it. 655 was your bull bear pivot. It broke below 655, big downside. So that's what happened yesterday. Actually started off the open strong, right? The open looked like a long to me. This to me, yesterday's session was an absolute long, holding demand. But then eventually we failed demand pretty aggressively. We moved it back under 655, and then we moved from 655 all the way down to 640s, right? 640s here on Meta. So where is Meta going today? Well, Meta today is just bound between levels, right? Your next support is back down here at 640. My view is that if we pull back to 640, I would look for a long there. 640 is a big pullback long spot. 655 is big supply. So that's all we have today. Big supply above, big demand below. Okay. Palantir. Some news here in Palantir. Yesterday's session, we had a Trump tweet. Trump was tweeting that there was a $1.5 trillion budget on defense, and that's caused Palantir to move up higher. Now, the one thing I'll note here is Palantir is on very low volume, right? So I saw people were worried about this yesterday, but look at the volume, right? Look at the volume. Obviously, this is all pre-market volume, all after hours volume. Now, if this were like real aggressive buying, you would see at least these bars be half the volume from its normal intraday session, and it's not. So if you are short Palantir, I do think that's a good sign that you don't see a lot of buying pressure, a lot of volume coming in, because you know that if the stock moves higher, it is confirmed. It's that the move is substantiated by volume, and if the volume is not there, then you know, okay, maybe it's not real, right? So I would definitely give it time. Trust your levels more than anything else today. 188 is your key supply, but I really shouldn't be talking about like volume with you guys pre-market, because that is not why you guys are here. You guys are here for the levels. But I just want to point out some things that I see. So I do see that, again, if it starts developing high volume, then, cooked. But 188 is your resistance. I know that Mike did get some trims off this yesterday, so this was a good trade already. So just make sure you have an effective trail stop. Probably use 188 as trail stop, or maybe the highs yesterday session as trail stop, and that would be a good approach. Okay, let's go over delta. Just means $1. So delta is just a fancy way of saying $1. Tesla, weak, right? Tesla really weak. So Tesla's also very weak in the session, right? What is going on with Tesla? Well, what is going on with some of these beta names? Tesla has no life. Where's Apple? What is Apple do? Why Apple? Same thing. Some of these beta names are so incredibly weak. Tesla, no life either. So let's see what happens on Tesla. Where is Tesla going to? At this point, under 450. I mean, at this point, probably I'm gonna guess that the next. I shouldn't be saying that. I'm gonna guess. But the next high volume, the next area of real interest is here at 414. Right. That's the next area of big interest. And so if I were a betting man, I would argue we go here, right? Now that's your big support down below. Your big resistance above us is over here. For me on Tesla, I have no intention of trading this name, right? There's no reason for me to trade this. It just doesn't have a trend right now, right? And when it doesn't have a trend, there is no trade for me. Now, granted, I would say this is more of a downtrend than an uptrend. The reason why is because it's just structuring lower on the 1 hour chart. So I wouldn't want to be long Tesla either, right? So I would not want to long Tesla. I think it probably fizzles out back into 414. Let's see what happens today, though. Intraday, though, if you're looking for trades, maybe if like 435.50 is a level, which is that low of that Friday session. But again, no intention of trading Tesla for me today. Okay, let's move on. Maybe next week, yeah, mass trader. It could be next week. Next week could be a top watch. But again, these names, they shift in value, right? Amazon was shit last week. This week it's super strong, right? So names go ebbs and flow between value, and right now Tesla is just not doing anything. Netflix. Netflix is. Are you looking for Netflix for a long-term trade or a short-term trade? Because for me, Netflix is only a long-term trade, right? So the long-term idea of Netflix is basically I buy here, right? I buy here. This is my Netflix buy zone, and I am looking to build an equity position here, and that's it. That's all I do here in Netflix. In terms of short-term trades, if you're looking for short-term trades here, watch this 90 level down below. As long as 90 holds, it's bullish, right? In the short term, 90 is your bull bear pivot. Okay, let's move on. Let's go over a few other names today. Let's go over CRWD. We have so much extra time today. We are going crazy. So CrowdStrike probably also moving higher. I was gonna say because of defense stocks, but CrowdStrike is not really. Could you argue? I mean, you could make the argument like cyber defense, but that'd be a far-fetched argument. Okay, so on the 1 hour chart, sometimes I feel like sometimes I'm just talking to myself. You guys have probably no idea what I'm talking about. I'm just talking to myself right now. 474 is your level here on this chart. You can see that's your real inflection point, and so this is your level to watch out for, right? This is your level, 474. If we're above it, bullish, below it, bearish. Why? It's the megalodon level, right? It's the low, 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 it's the low. You look at it at yesterday's session and look at that. Actually, wow, that's really nice. Look at that intraday move here. Look at this intraday move. Look at this intraday, that massive level. Trading intraday. I mean, a little ugly at first, right? But finally, once it gets above, big upside move here. And so your level is this whole band here. That's your big thing to watch out for here on CRWD. Okay, IWM, last ticker, guys. The last ticker of today's session, the IWM. By the way, we have 672 likes. You guys liked it too much. We're way over goal. That's crazy. That's actually maybe one of my most. This actually may be one of my most liked videos. The most I've ever gotten was 700. That's insane. I don't know what we did here to get so many likes, but that's awesome. Much appreciated. Okay, so on the IWM, everything is about 253 today, right? If you want to look for a pullback long, this is your pullback long spot, 253. That's all it is, right? For above 253, we're bullish. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you have a beautiful resistance turning into support. It was initially resistance. You can see it was resistance at first. We turn it into support on Tuesday. If we can hold this level and we pull back right to it, then this is where it is, right? Pullback long spot right there. If we can do that today, that's your best bullish trade today. If you fail below 252, it's no longer bullish. Look for shorts and a downside play, right? So everything you trade today on IWM is guided by this zone between 253 and 252. If we're above it, we're bullish. Look for retests, pullback longs. If we fail below 252, then look for the short side trade back in at 250 and possibly back in 246. So again, we were bullish on IWM for a while. We actually talked about this being bullish over here, right? If you guys remember, we spoke about the breakout from 250. That's going to go into highs. Now you just need to look for pullback longs. Okay, guys. Thank you all for joining in. Thank you all for the likes. 740 likes. That is my new record. That is my new record on the channel, which is awesome. So very much appreciated. Thank you all for doing that. I'll see you guys all for live. If you live trade with us, I'll see you guys in the chat. If you don't, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye, guys.